Interview. Hello, Roy. Do you hear me?
Yes, hello, Jörg. How are you?
I'm fine because I'm talking to a rock legend, one of the founding fathers of progressive rock, of psychedelic. That's totally great.
Thank you. You make me feel younger and younger and younger.
Yeah, rock musicians are always young and they don't age.
No, we like Volkswagen cars, we just keep going and going and going.
Yeah, that's it. That's the right attitude. So, yeah, I introduced the song Set Me Free Amigo from your latest album, Time Machine.
Yeah.
It was released in probably summer 2013. So, yeah, you finished your European leg of this Time Machine tour lately. So how were the reaction on this album and this relatively new lineup?
Well, the tour itself so far, I mean, we've got another part of the tour to go, which will be in October. Also in Europe, but I think we might do Italy and Spain and a few other places. But so far, the reception for Time Machine has been very, very good. In fact, merchandise sales for this particular album has far exceeded what we expected. And of course, we only have a certain amount of time to play a show, so we have to try and mix in a little bit of everything. So we put two songs from each album that we've ever recorded into the set.
Oh, yeah.
And two of the songs were from Time Machine that we did in the set in, I believe you were in Hamburg.
Yeah.
Which was the title track, Time Machine, and also the opening, A Better Way. Well, some of it anyway. And so far, it's had good response. People really like it. It's a slight change in direction for Nectar, but we watch the reactions of people very closely at our shows, and it seems that the new direction the Nectar's heading in is something they like. So I think we're doing okay.
Oh yeah, and it's some shorter songs. I said it to the listeners, and normally Nectar played long songs the 70s. So how did it come that you played more compact song and kitschy songs instead of the long opuses?
Well, on Time Machine itself, we've got a 10 minutes or 2 10-minute pieces of music there anyway. For those people, older fans who like our long compositions. And we thought this time it might be a good idea to put some different directions in there. As you mentioned before, Move Up Amigo is basically a story within a song.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a ballad in there. We always like to put some kind of a ballad on the album. Each album has its own sort of short ballad. And then there's a little bit of jazz rock on there as well. And then there's Tranquility, a bit of a mixture, but it's okay. It's okay as trying to write Recycles and Remember the Futures all over again. But we ask ourselves why would we want to do that?
Yeah, it's today.
Why don't we try and just branch out? Because that's how Nectar always was from the very beginning, was expanding and trying new things and new directions. And there's no point in going back. History is history. It was great. Remember the Future was a great album. Recycle was a great album. The very first one, space rocky type of album.
Yeah.
Journey Center of the Eye, Tab in the Ocean. All great pieces of music. But there's no point in keep trying to replicate those kind of pieces of music. We should move on and try different directions, which is what we aim to do. So we have a little bit of time now, between now and then, for me to finish off writing this new album that we're coming up with.
Oh, yeah. And how did you progress this new album? Is it completed, or do you have to write many songs? So which stage are you in this new album?
Well, I write the music now, but it's the early stages at the moment. The ideas are there, the skeleton of the songs are there, but the titles for our albums usually come at the end. Mm-hmm. Which is whichever, and it's usually a title of one of the pieces that are on there. So we just leave it till the end for a title, and come up with a title then.
Mm-hmm.
As for the direction, well, Nectar music, it could be any direction, It could be any one of 1,000 different directions. It depends which way, how we feel at the time. It's that's the way Nectar's music is.
Yeah, that sounds good. And the other guys, Ron Howden or Klaus Henach, are they? Can they contribute their musical ideas to Nectar as well, or do you write nearly everything?
Well, I write everything, but what I do is I do a pre-production here in my home studio with an electronic drummer, and the ideas I put down all the guitars, some vocals, some backing vocals, some rough keyboards because I'm not a keyboard player. I put bass lines down because bass comes easy for me. And I take this then to the other guys, and I play it to them, and they listen, and they put their particular styles to it. The bass guitarist would put his particular bass style to it. Klaus would put his particular keyboard style, or he would come up with some ideas for keyboards better than I could, and that's the way we work it. Because the days of everybody getting together into a studio and spending 3 to 4 to 5 weeks in a studio, they're long, long gone, simply because of the expense now. So, and with file transfers, now we can work a lot quicker and a lot better on these pieces of music. And then when we finally have what we want, then we go to the studio, and it only takes us 3 to 4 days to record it.
I read on the internet that Time Machine was recorded in 10 days, or heard it on your YouTube channel.
Right.
In 10 days, so you needed some time to write the songs, to prepare, but when you came together, you can work very on the focus.
Yes, very quickly, It works a lot better that way.
It's very, very easy this way.
As for the rest of the band members writing any of the songs, this Time Machine, I thought would be a good idea to let Ron write a song, and Klaus do a song as well.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we all put our own little pieces to it, but it gives a bit of a wider scope. I mean, that's a lovely song that Ron came up with, and I thought Klaus's song was an extension of Manning the Moon, really. Mm-hmm. And so those two songs are one from Ron and one from Klaus. But most of the time, since the days of the last album that we made as the original band of Nectar was recycled. Since then, everything else that's come out on record has been written by myself, and it's only just now on Time Machine that we've got a couple of other guys writing some of the music as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and. I guess in the 70s, you had some fancy stories, put up your ideas and more, not so directly. It was the prog rock idea to realize the music was interesting and fantasy lyrics. So how do you see it today? How do you find the material for your lyrics?
Well, I see Nectar really well. The writing of the music. I live in a pretty secluded part of the UK. Mm-hmm. It's out in the countryside, and I'm not a big city boy. I was born in the country, and I've lived in the country most of my life, except for the short time that I was living in America, which was for a year, 1 year only. Which was near New York. But being a country boy, I don't really get to see much of the city life. So I'm a little bit isolated. And when I sit down to write a song, I write about how I see the world from my point of view. For instance, Recycle was a typical example of that. That was, back then, as the original Nectar, we first went to America and we saw what was going on there, the wastefulness and the throwaway society. And that's what basically recycle is all about. You know, how long are we going to last by throwing everything away? You know, using every resource we've got and not renewing the resources.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it's a continuation of that. We tend to prophesize a little bit, Nectar, but I don't see any harm in that because it gives people awareness of the world around them, of what's actually going on. I mean, there are certain things now. You only have to look at, because of the advent of the internet, you can see the world news any 24 hours a day if you want to. And you can see what's going on in the world, and sometimes it's really, really scary.
Of course, yeah.
You know, and we all see this, but it's not very many people that want to write about it. One of the great songwriters of our time, Pete Seeger, died recently. I don't know if you know this. That man was amazing at his prophesizing and, you know, and his way of writing. And I like to think Nectar as being the type of band who are not condemning people, but they're suggesting ways in which it could be made better.
Yeah, that's a good attitude, not to bring your opinion and to tell them this is the right way, but to give them some hints to make own thoughts and to get your own approach to those things.
That's right, and putting this idea into rock music is not an easy thing to do.
No.
But we try our best, and that's all we can do. You know?
Yeah, and you were joking on stage. Now we know that it's not totally true, but you were joking on stage in Hamburg that Nectar can't write short songs.
Yes, you remember that, yeah?
Yeah. So, but now we have seen you can short songs as well. But what do you think? What is the advantage if you compare longer tracks to short songs?
Well, Down to Earth was a typical example of Nectar trying to write short songs. Astro Man and Fidgety Queen, they were basically rock songs looking for some kind of some kind of advantage for the record blind public, you know, that will go out and buy these things. But Nectar's not that kind of band, as you know. We're kind of band that like to write long pieces because one thing I don't like to do is to make a piece within a piece too long because you lose interest. Your train of thought is moved away from it, which is why Nectar has these long pieces, I say an average of 10 minutes. In that 10 minutes, we can go through 4 or 5 or 6 different rooms, music. And keep the listener interested, but always bring it back to where it was at the beginning, so that it doesn't become boring. It becomes, and then all of a sudden you'll hear that signature again, and it takes you back to the beginning, and tie everything up, you know, nice little package, tied at the top with a knot, you know. That's the reason why we like to write long pieces, or I like to write long pieces. So you can go from rock through laid back, you know, like Desolation Valley goes rock and it lays back and then goes rock and then lays back and then goes into this dream state affair. That's how we like to play Nectar. And that's take the people with us on a journey of music.
Yeah, interesting attitude. And if I listen to your albums, I don't feel the length of the song. Sometimes a long song, I think, it's 10 minutes, but I didn't notice it as a 10-minute song. But if I look at the cover, then I saw the time indication and said, 10 minutes. I didn't realize this time, but so it's not so important if the musical idea is good enough to fill 10 minutes and you don't feel it in this way. But if it's a boring song, then you say, all right, or what should it say again and again and again? Yeah. So
it's I think a colleague of ours in Germany, I think he said, zeitlose Musik.
Yeah, timeless music. Yeah, it's richtig gut. Genau, sehr gut. Yeah. So let's hear another song. The listeners want to hear maybe another impression, maybe from your anniversary album, 45.
Mm-hmm.
The second track, Crying in the Dark. What's up with, because it's a relatively short song about nearly 6 minutes. So what's Crying in the Dark? What's the story behind this track?
Well, it's obviously joined on to King of Twilight, but Crying in the Dark is basically finding our way through the darkness and trying to find where the light is, at the end of the tunnel, we say in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know what the translation would be in Germany.
Das Licht am Ende des Tunnels.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a song full of hope and...
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Hope lies at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, really good. Here we are again.
Okay.
So, Crying in the Dark. So it's an interesting thing in your career. You are an English band, but you were founded in Hamburg, I guess, in 1969.
Yep.
And then you lived in Hessen, in a farm, I guess. You lived here in Germany. And the first 5 or 6 years. So what was your idea to create your career, to build it up from Germany, not maybe from London or from England, or what was the idea to have your base in Germany?
Well, it was basically I was with another band called Rainbows. Not to be, obviously it wasn't the Richie Blackmore's Rainbow. It was Rainbows in 1969 or 1968, should I say. And we were playing in Hamburg at the Top 10 Club. We were a sort of house band there. And around the corner was the Star Club, the famous Star Club. And in the daytime in Hamburg, back in the late 60s, there was nothing to do because the city is a nighttime city. And so musicians had nothing to do in the daytime except walk around Hamburg, go into the music shops, go into pizzas and whatever. And I was passing the Star Club one day, and I heard this drummer practicing his drums. Now, the Star Club doors were open because the cleaners were cleaning the club out ready for that evening. And I walked in, and there was a drummer on stage practicing his drums.
Oh, yeah.
And I really liked what I heard. So I went up to the drummer, I introduced myself. I said, I'm at the Top 10 Club, my name's Roy. Who are you? He says, I'm the drummer of a band that's living in Hamburg with some other musicians. My name's Ron. I said, during the daytime, I said, is this what you do? He says, yeah. He says, the owner of the Star Club lets me come and practice on my own. I said, would you mind if I came along in the daytime? He said, no, of course. No, bring your guitar. So I did. And that's how Nectar started.
Yeah.
Ron Howden and myself were practicing at the Star Club. And then my band then at the Top 10 Club had finished their contract, and we were going back to the UK. And I said to Ron, if your guitarist ever leaves, I said, give me a call. I'd love to come over and play together with you, you know. And I think I was in London, because I was living in London then. I was in London, I think, it must have been about 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. And I got then a telegram. Remember them?
Yeah, the old times without
the old time
SMS.
Telegram,
Yeah.
And saying, hey, Roy, Colin, our guitarist, is leaving. Would you be interested in coming over to Hamburg? I said, yeah, sure. So I jumped on the ferry and I went over to Hamburg. This was November the 5th, 1969. And got together with Ron. And then I met the bass player, Derek Moore, and Taff Freeman, the keyboard player. And that's how we got together. And that was the start of Nectar, November the 5th, 1969.
So these other guys, they were part of Ron Howden's band at that time.
Well, the three of them, with Colin, their old guitarist who left, they were called Prophecy.
Yeah.
And they were doing basically the GI camps, you know, playing standard songs in the GI camps. but they were living in Hamburg in the back of a hotel, what they call the annex of a hotel, Hotel Pacific, about half a mile from the Reeperbahn.
Oh, yeah.
And, that's where, when I came over on November the 5th, that's where we all stayed together. And then we went out started playing some clubs, a couple of GI camps, and the GIs went crazy for it because we were, we didn't want to play any standards, we just wanted to play what we wanted to play. And, it was all chicken wire back then. And we just got and started playing spaced out music and what we wanted to play, And I come over from the UK with a lot of ideas, and they had their own ideas, and we put them all together. And what came out was Nectar music. And that's how it all started. And we suddenly started to get a following. And shortly after that, we moved then down to Hessen, which was just outside Darmstadt.
Oh, yeah.
A place called Zeeheim. And we rented a house there. And we wrote our first album, which was Journey to the Center of the Eye.
Mm-hmm. You were in Zeeheim lately, I guess. I saw it on your Facebook site.
Yeah, that was amazing. That house is exactly the same as it was. Exactly the same. The only thing is, where on the left-hand side where the garage is, there used to be a big tree. But they pulled the tree down and put a garage for the car there. But that's the only difference. Everything else is falling to pieces. I mean, the house is falling down, It's in a terrible state, but it's exactly the same as it was before.
Ah, yeah. And did you visit the new inhabitants, or were you indoors or just outdoors?
Oh, no, we didn't go inside. No, we didn't want to bother the people living there. We just stood outside because it's on a hill,
Ah, yeah.
It's called Oberbierbacherstraße, which goes up. If you carry on up the hill, the big Lufthansa place is up there.
Mm-hmm. Ah, yeah.
And Frankenstein's castle as well is up there.
That's good.
But it was incredible to see it again. It really was.
But you didn't record your albums in this house. It was in a studio, I guess Dieter Dirk's studio or some kind.
That's right. Yeah, the first three albums were done at Dieter Dirk's. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were writing there in the cellar of that house.
Ah, yeah.
In fact, it was A Journey to the Center of the Eye, Tap in the Ocean, and Remember the Future were all written in the cellar of that house.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your band name is, it's written with a K, Nektar, how it sounds in German. So what was your consideration? Why did you choose not the C, but the K?
Well, the story behind the name Nectar is quite amazing, actually. When we first got together, and our very first show, which was in Cuxhaven.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And we said, okay, this is going to be the first show. There's going to be some press there, I mean, I don't mean the GI camps. We'd finished with those. We were going to do our first real show in Cuxhaven. Mm-hmm. So the press were coming. We invited the press down, come and listen to this new music. And we were in the dressing room. We said, "Well, what we're going to call the band? We haven't really got a name, So okay, let's think of a name." And we all said, "Okay, we've got three names in a hat. One was Nectar. Mm-hmm. One was Ambrosia, yeah, and the other one was Pollen." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Okay, we'll work it this way. If it goes really bad, we'll call ourselves Pollen. Mm-hmm. If it goes not too bad, we'll call ourselves Ambrosia. If it goes great, we'll call ourselves Nectar. But let's spell Nectar with a K instead of a C, to make it different.
Ah, yeah.
A little more aggressive. The B with a sting, And as it was, the show went great. We called ourselves Nectar. And because we spelled it with a K, and because we got together, all English guys got together in Germany, everybody thought from that moment on that we were a German krautrock band. Mm-hmm. Which I have no problem with. It doesn't matter for me. But they seem to think it's a problem. For me, there's no problem, and for nobody else in Nectar, there's a problem with that at all whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. No, well, I didn't see krautrock elements. It's a little psychedelic, maybe indirectly, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, at the very beginning, I suppose, yeah, there was some influence there from some of the other German bands, and some of the German bands got influenced by us, and you know, that was the time. You know, that's what it was in the early 70s. Like Guru Guru, Khan, and those kind of bands, we all influenced each other a little bit, you know.
And did you meet the Scorpions at that time, because they are working with Dieter Dierks in the mid-70s?
That's right, yeah.
As well, did you meet them for concerts or on festivals or?
Hey, of course we met them. Yeah, in fact, is it Studio 21, the radio station?
Yeah.
Yeah, we met Scorpions in Studio 21 not so long ago. I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, they were there. Although, is it Rudy Schenker, is it, the guitarist?
Yeah, Rudolf Schenker is still...
Yeah, he wasn't with them.
Oh, yeah.
But the rest of the guys were there. Yeah. Nice guys.
Yeah. So, and it was your time in Germany, but you moved to America, you mentioned it, in the mid-70s. So was it a change in your music, or did it change your musical attitude and change your way as a band, because the band split up shortly after your move to America? So
yeah, musically, I don't think it didn't have a chance to change us whatsoever, because, I mean, I was only there for not even a year. I mean, we all moved to America in April the 1st, 76, which is in the UK is April Fool's Day.
Yeah, in Germany as well.
that should have said something to us, but he didn't. But April the 1st, 76, we all moved, whole families, everybody, to the USA. And I came back just before Christmas of the same year, because when we got there, it was you must understand that we just had 2 hits, and we had a really big hit, Remember the Future, and Recycle was very well received, and that was very successful too. And when we decided to move all to America, because we were touring more in America than we were in Europe. We decided to move over there. All of a sudden, it seemed as if the shine had gone off everything. You know, there was no tours planned. There was no new album planned, and nothing. And I wanted to. My feet were still running. You know,
yeah.
And I wanted to do something, do more. But it wasn't happening. So I just basically said to the guys, look, if we can't pull something together soon, I said, I'm just going to have to do something. I have music in my head that I want to get out, so I have to play. And yes, and then at the end of 76, I decided it was time for me to go. And I moved back to Europe and started up with Kurt Kress, an old friend of mine, with Snowball.
And so this was the reason, because the others recorded Magic as a child without you.
Yes, they did. I noticed you asked before about I had nothing to do with that album. Actually, one of the tracks on that album called Listen, that was one of the songs I came up with before I left. In fact, it was the last thing idea I had before I left the original Nectar. And although the way it was performed by Dave Nelson, which was very good, the way he performed that song, it was great solo work. It's the arrangement is very much different to the idea I had. But I was involved in the writing of that particular song, but that's all I was involved in.
Oh yeah, and but this lineup wasn't very successful, or it was maybe successful for a short time. But then you came back to how was the album called? Man in the Moon. Yeah. You came back for this one album again.
Well, I moved. Actually, what I wanted to do was I wanted to reform Nectar. But unfortunately, the bass player had a different career by that time, and it wasn't in music. The keyboard player, Taff, was still available to play, which he did, and so we got Carmine Rojas on the bass. And I could not, for the life of me, find out where Ron Howden had got to. I knew he lived in New Jersey, but I didn't know where he was, and nobody had any contact information for him. And I wanted Ron to play on Man in the Moon, but I couldn't find him. So I had to look for another drummer. And Carmine knew of Dave Prater.
Oh, yeah.
So Carmine and Dave came as a package because they were playing with a band in America called Baby Grand. And basically as a rock soul band, you know. And so they came in, stepped in and did the rhythm section for Man in the Moon, which we recorded in a studio that we built specifically for doing Man in the Moon, which was in a house in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And then the album was made, we mixed it, we released it, and then everybody went their separate ways. And I said to the manager at the time, I said, let's go to Europe and take the band and Man in the Moon and go to Europe and play a tour. So Carmine, David, Taff, and myself, we went to Europe and did a short tour. Started off very good. By the time the end of the tour came, it was very bad. Simply, that was not for the band's fault. That was the organisation's fault. So everybody split up then. David went back to the USA. Carmine went off and started playing with
David Bowie and others.
Yeah, and Rod Stewart and David Bowie. And Taff Freeman went back home to New Jersey. And I stayed in Germany and just messing about really. And I decided then to go to the UK and join Rupert Hine with Quantum Jump. Quantum Jump, I went back to Germany and joined Kurt Dress. And then it was a long time then. I just sat around doing nothing except writing song after song after song, not playing with a band, until I got a message from the very early days of internet.
Yeah.
Very, very early email things. This is the organizer for the Near Fest in New Jersey, which is Northeast Art Rock Festival. Would you be interested in Nectar, the original Nectar, playing a show?
Oh, yeah.
I said, oh, yeah, if I can find them.
Yeah.
So I had to spend 2 months looking for everybody, you know. I finally found everybody, including Ron, and the bass player, and Taff, and we and Mick, the light show guy. So we all put our thoughts together and said, yeah, let's do it. Let's do one show. But because we'd not played together for so long as a unit, we decided to pull a few extra people in because, you know, we needed horns, we needed, for certain songs, we needed a rhythm section, we needed backing singers because by that time none of us had sung for so long. Yeah, it was a good show. But the amazing thing was there was a lot of big names on that festival. I mean, Steve Hackett was on it and everybody was on it. But the ticket sales are very slow.
Oh, yeah.
But as soon as they found out that Nectar were coming, original Nectar was reforming to do this one show, the tickets were sold in 45 minutes.
Cool.
Sold out.
And this was a sign to record a new album?
Yes, well, after the Near Fest, we did a few more shows. One in the UK, we did the Herzberg Festival in Germany, and a couple more. Yeah. And then the bass player said, you know, I can't carry on. I've got my business to take care of. So he left. Mo Moore left. Shortly after that, Taff Freeman left, and we left Ron and myself holding the baby, as they say. So we had to look for a new rhythm section, which, you know, we've been going through, as you noticed, we've been going through bass players like hot knife through butter. I mean, we're on our fifth bass player now, you know. but the new bass player Tom is absolutely excellent. Not only that, but he's also a scorer. He scores music as well, and he's also a double bass player, a stand bass, and he's also notates. He's a jazzer, and he's an amazing bass player. So we have and he loves Nectar's music. So, you know, we've got a great bass player now. And my son stepped in for this tour because Ron Howden had some business to take care of and couldn't make the tour. And being as it was only a short tour anyway, I got my son to play the drums, which is an excellent drummer.
Yeah, it functioned very well. It was very good, and I guess the bass player, he did play very well.
Yeah.
So so you can. It was maybe it seemed as one unit.
Yeah.
The bass player stood a little bit in the background, but
that's simply because, I mean, Nectar's music is not an easy music to play. I'm not saying it's the most difficult, but the feel of the music is very important. From piece to piece, it's not just a case of using a click track. Nectar's music is not based around click tracks. Nectar's music, it ebbs and the tides ebb and flow, up and down, everything. So it's very important to get that right, otherwise the song sounds terrible. And it's that feeling which is why Tom stood at the back, just so he can get used to the idea of it. I mean, let's face it, what he had to learn, it might only be 90 minutes of music or 2 hours, but excuse me.
No problem.
But in the 2 hours, it's a lot of things to remember and a lot of feelings to go through. And he doesn't want to stand at the front, you know, playing something. So he's at the back concentrating on what he's doing. But as the tour went on and further into it, he became so efficient at what he was playing. It was stunning to listen to him.
So he is, he did a very good job. But he's a permanent member now, or was it just for this tour? So
no, we definitely need a permanent bass player, and I think Tom's sort of given the green light. He wants to stay with Nectar whenever we go out.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And Ron will come back for the next tour, or will he be replaced again by Che, your son?
No, he's Ron will be back for the next one. But it's good to have Shay there for any immediate. I mean, Shay will come out with us to do tour managing, because that's where he's really good at as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anything should I say, or dare I say, anything should happen where Ron's not feeling very good or whatever, it's good to have somebody there who can step up and play, you know.
Of course.
You know, it's great to have that.
Of course, yeah. It was your comeback album. It was, The Prodigal Son, and you played one song from this album, or it was called Now, the song Now. Maybe it was a comeback album in 2001.
That's right, yeah.
So what's behind this album and this song? So
it's self-explanatory, really, Jörg. It's basically, as the words say, an angel comes down and says to this young man, what do you want from life? You know, what is it that you're looking for? You know, how would you like? How can you make it better? And the guy says, well, with the trouble and the strife that's going on, you know, something needs to be done now. And that's basically what the song's about.
Yeah, let's listen to this song from your comeback album and hold the line, stay in the line moment.
Okay.
Now from Nectar, from The Prodigal Son. Of Twilight, what's behind this song?
Again, a song of hope, you know.
Again, yeah.
Yeah. It's a foregoing theme of Nectar is, you know, to look on the positive side of things as opposed to the negative. You know, we try to not to be too prophetic, but at the same time, music has to say something, you know. Otherwise, music's just music.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, harking back to the great Pete Seeger. I mean, his words were, music without lyrics is just music.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, there are some people who like the classic masters would say, well, that's not true, because listen to those guys. But, yeah, that's a different thing altogether.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your Beethoven's, Bach's and all that. But in modern music, you know, film music's fantastic. You know, it's great, but music for the populace to listen to cause these memories, that has to have lyrics, and they have to be there, and evocative lyrics as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, that's good. And yeah, you came back with the album, The Prodigal Son. So yeah, how did they react after this release? So when you went on tour with this new album, so how was the situation after such a long break? Did you found your old fan base again, or was it a hard task?
Well, I have to tell you, Nectar's fan base is the most loyal fan base I've ever known. They are absolutely amazing. I mean, they waited 20 years for us to come back around again. They knew that it may one day happen, but they waited 20 years, and as soon as they heard that we were coming back together to do something, they were there, you know, at full support. We have the greatest respect for our fan base, and I'm not just saying this because we were on radio, but we do have our greatest respect for our fan base, and they are the very best.
Yeah. In this concert, yeah, there were many people, I guess, in their mid-50s or about this, and some had their children with them, so some younger fans, I guess.
Yeah, most of them, as they say in Germany, are Glatzkopf.
Yeah, I see it.
You know, you stand at the back of a theatre concert hall listening to Nectar, and you can see all the people standing there looking at them, and a lot of them have got no hair anymore.
Yeah, it's that.
But having said that, you know, since we released Evolution and Book of Days, which has more kind of up-tempo, rocky type of stuff on it, you be surprised how many younger people are coming to Nectar shows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking teenagers, obviously not, but you know, your 25-year-olds are coming to, which are obviously probably are daughters and sons of the elderly generation.
Mm-hmm.
But they're coming and they're really rocking out to the music. They're loving it, you know. So that's good. It's good. Zeitlose Musik, as I said before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good to find them again, and to maybe the internet is helpful, YouTube and other kinds of media, so younger people experience your music.
Yeah,
via YouTube.
Not normally be able to hear this, because, you know, rifling through record shops or not even hearing about a certain band, but because of things like LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter, and now people are getting to know all these associations of different bands and members of the bands, and they're getting to listen to this stuff, and they're going, oh, I didn't know about this band. This is my age group. This is my kind of music, and that's how it goes.
I guess in 1984, Iron Maiden did cover a song of Nectar song.
Yeah.
It was helpful as well, I guess, but Iron Maiden audience is not so close to the Nectar audience. But this is, I guess, Steve Harris, he is a huge Nectar fan. Yeah,
he likes Nectar. Yeah. I met Steve Harris at the airport quite a few years ago now. He didn't recognize me. You know, I knew they were a band because they were all sitting together, you know, their hair down to their knees, and they obviously looked like a rock band. So I just went over and I said to them, I think this is in Frankfurt. I said, Frankfurt Airport. I said, hi guys. I said, your band? I said, yeah. I said, who is it? They said, Iron Maiden. I goes, oh. I said, you recorded one of my band songs. And Steve Harris said, who are you? I said, my name's Roy. He says, Roye Albrighton. I said, yeah. He says, Jesus Christ. He said, What kind of a coincidence is that?
That's good. So he didn't recognize you when he saw you, or so he didn't.
No. Well, I didn't recognize them because, I mean, we don't. Very few of our albums have pictures of the band on it.
Yeah.
It's always the front cover is always some psychedelic, artwork sort of thing. So.
So yeah.
So he wouldn't recognize me as who I am anyway.
Yeah. It's good. And two founding members, Alan Tuff Freeman and Derek Moore, they are not part of Nectar anymore, but so they have retired from rock business, or what's up with them today?
Yeah, well, Tuff Freeman, nobody seems to know where he is. He just disappeared into the vista. Mm-hmm. I don't think he has anything to do with music anymore. As is with Derek Moore, he's got a very successful business over in New Jersey, and he doesn't really do anything with music anymore. Mm-hmm. I think he may go out and play with a few friends, now and again, but he doesn't. It's not professional at all.
Mm-hmm. So there wouldn't be a reunion in the original lineup.
Well, never say never.
Never say never.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what the future may bring. But whatever it brings, it has to be soon.
Yeah.
We're all getting a bit older now.
Yeah, of course.
But it's my birthday next week anyway, so
yeah.
I'm going to enjoy this one.
Of course. Of course. And you had another member, Dave Brockett. He was responsible for the light shows. So what happened to your spectacular light shows in the 70s? Nectar were well known on this last tour. It was without any light show effects. It was a reduced show, just you on stage. And so what happened to your light show?
Okay, well, Mick's light show back in the 70s was extraordinary. I mean, it really was one of a kind. It was unique in every aspect, and it was something that nobody else was doing at the time. I think the closest that to what Mick was doing was used at the Fillmore auditoriums over in the West Coast. But Mick had his own way of doing it, and it was absolutely fantastic. 3 screens, it was great. But unfortunately, as time moves on, and in the modern world, with all safety regulations, we could not use a lot of the things that Mick used. Mm-hmm. For instance, alcohol near hot lamps and things, it was just very dangerous. And health and safety would not allow this. Mm-hmm. So we suggested to Mick that he, upgrade to digital. Mm-hmm. But Mick being a traditionalist, he said, look, there's no way that I'm going to be able to replicate what I do and how I do it through digital, which was pretty much true, because back early digital age, you couldn't do what Mick was doing. You can now, probably, but back then there's no way you could have done what Mick was doing digitally. So Mick says, well, rather than that, he said, I'll just leave it, and that was that. Since then, we've offered Mick several times to come on the road with us, and that we'd try and support him and financially to do this show. But it's been such a long time now, and he's doing okay over in New Jersey. He does his little light shows, festivals, which is it's okay doing festivals in the open air, because if anything happens there, you're not going to hurt anybody. But in a room, with fire regulations and all that, you couldn't do it. So that's unfortunately. But we carried on anyway, and we used the static lights which the theatre provides, spots and smoke machines and things. The show comes over well. The most important thing, obviously, is the music, and the lights we offer are not bad. It's good atmospheric lights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, so if you're on stage, if you create a set list, so what are your ideas? So you said it before. You try to get each album into the set list.
Yeah,
so
this is the most difficult part.
Yeah, so
because when you have so many albums, and everybody wants to hear something from something, they want to hear "Remember the Future." Well, the shortest part of "Remember the Future" is 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And if you look at the old vinyl, it's 40 minutes long. It's 20 minutes a side. Now, you can't possibly play 40 minutes of music, or even 20 minutes of music, and then try and fit something from all the other albums in there. Otherwise, you're going to end up playing for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And you can't do this. So, you can't please everybody. And somebody's going to go away from it and go, well, they didn't play that, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Well, we've also, the last American tour, no, not the last one, the one before the last American tour, what we did was, we have 4 different set lists. And we would go out and we would alternate between those 4 set lists.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we do one set list from start to begin to end. The next night, we would do that same set list backwards. And then the next night, we do the third set list forwards. And the fourth night, we do that set list backwards. And then start again. And somebody's bound to say, oh, that was great, but you didn't play the 5th track on the 11th album. I'd say, well, yeah, I mean, come on, please, And also, you've got a support act as well, and they're going to take up half an hour, 45 minutes of the time. What are you going to do? So it's a very difficult. If we were a 3-minute band, 3-minute song band, there'd be no problem.
Of course. Because
we're not that way. So that's another reason why earlier on, remember you said, why no bands really want us to support them, because our songs are so long,
That's it.
And long pieces of music, and we need, our normal set length, what you saw was 2 hours, right? In Hamburg.
Yeah, good 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, our normal set length is 2.5 hours. That's normal.
But with this kind of music, it would be a good idea to create it this way, because you have got so many great albums and long songs. So this would be a good idea to realize this way. So,
but we shot out the moment we started. Nectar started doing long pieces of music. Basically, we shot ourselves in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunately it went on and on and on that way, and. Yeah, we tried doing short songs on Down to Earth, but that album was not received very well. But having said that, it's been better received now than it ever was. But there again, people grow into the albums, It's not like, I love the album and then 6 months later they can't stand listening to it. At least.
Because it's too simple and people lost their interest. Music that is complex, you can always discover new elements after each
exactly that.
kind of listening, and that's what I like on prog rock, because it never gets old, it never gets bored, because it's always interesting, it's always fresh. I can always discover new elements after each hearing and listening to the album, so that's good.
I just recently bought this Superman DVD, Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
I bought this and I watched it, and now normally I would pick up that same DVD a week later and just watch it again.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that with that DVD because I've seen it all now. There's nothing new in there to see. And it's some other DVDs I could watch at least 3 or 4 or 5 times within the same month.
It's directly my impression as well. The movie Once Upon a Time in America?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. I've got it on DVD and I watch it 2 or 3 times per year, and mostly in December.
It's one of those movie you never get tired of, because there's always something new to see.
I always discover new elements in this movie and new hints, and it's totally great.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's the same in music.
Exactly.
Yeah. And your music is often compared to Hawkwind. Do you like such kinds of comparison?
Yeah, I mean, we've been compared to all kinds of things, Jörg. Some not so nice.
Yeah.
So some very nice, but Nectar is Nectar, and the people have a tendency to want to tag it.
Yeah.
If they can't describe what Nectar is, they'll think of the nearest thing to it and stick a tag on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the human way of doing things. But for me, Nectar is Nectar, and whatever comes out, comes out. And if you say, "Oh, you sound like Hawkwind," well, so be it. Fine, thank you very much.
Okay,
they were a good band. I liked them. So thank you very much.
Yeah. So I read on some site, I'm not know if it's right, that you had some health problems in your break after 1981. So how fit are you nowadays?
Well, very fit. But if it hadn't have been for the wonderful doctors in Birmingham Queen Elizabeth Hospital, I wouldn't be talking to you now. They were absolutely fantastic, and they saved my life. And I'll never, ever forget them for this. And also, the person who donated their organ to me to carry on my life, and their family as well. I can't thank you enough for this. It's magnificent.
Oh yeah. So you need permanent treatment. You need to take medicine that this organ is gonna be accepted by your body, or
Yes, every day of my life.
Oh yeah, but it's no problem for your for touring or being on, because the life of a rock musician is,
no, absolutely not at all. I mean, I function absolutely normal. Of course, I have to take this medication, otherwise I will have a problem. So twice daily I have to take medication. Having said that, the advancement now in medication has become such where it may be, soon it may be where I don't have to take this medication every day. I take once a year, which would be fine, because then I wouldn't have to keep having to run back after 3 months to be reassessed for new medication. So the advancement is great. No, as long as I keep taking my medication, my life will be fulfilled as normal.
Oh yeah. That's good to hear.
You saw me in Hamburg. Do I look like somebody that can't do it anymore?
So no, I didn't know. I just checked some websites, and then I saw this information. I said, no, I can't believe it, because you were totally fit on stage, and no indications of health issues and other problems.
Not at all. Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And thank you for asking.
Yeah, no problem. It's not an easy question, so I asked myself, should I ask him this question? But it was an idea. I saw it on one website. So, and if you compare your whole career, so which were the highs and which were the lows in the Nectar history?
Well, the lows we just spoke about when I became ill.
Yeah.
But the highs, well, there's many to choose from. But I think the biggest high for me was when Remember the Future was a hit in America, and we sat there in a cafeteria on Sunset Boulevard. I was looking through the window, and there was this massive billboard stating Nectar, and the new album, which was Remember the Future, and performing tonight at Santa Monica Civic. That was for me a big high. And the other one was obviously the New York show, where we were going simultaneously over radio, and the show was playing that night at the concert hall in New York, Academy of Music. That was an amazing day. amazing day. Direct from the airport in a stretch limousine, straight to the hotel, straight to the Academy of Music. They are absolutely packed out with people. It was, well, you can imagine coming from Zeeheim to that.
Yeah. It's like a total culture shock.
Culture shock, yeah.
Culture shock, yeah. Yeah, I believe. And you did many live albums, live in America, and other live albums.
Yeah.
So was it that time? So many live albums. So how did it come?
Well, we did Sounds Like This, which was live in the studio. That wasn't actually live for the show, live in the studio. It was the third album. But we then did at the Roundhouse, live at the Roundhouse, and then we did live in New York, and then we did a few more studio albums. But because of the changes within the band itself, musicians, Klaus came in, and we had Peter Peitel, which was playing bass, and we decided, because people were getting a bit unsure as to actually who was in the band now. They knew I was, and they knew Ron was, but they didn't quite sure what else was going on. So just to put everybody's mind at rest, we decided to record Fortified, so that everybody knows what the band sounds like now and who's in it. And that's the reason why we did Fortified.
That's a good view about your career, and it's.
And there's also a good cross section of music on there as well.
Yeah, really. And a few years in 2003, there was this Rock Palace filming Pure.
Oh, Pure, yeah.
It was recorded in Bonn at the Philharmonie. It's a great concert and a nice venue and a good realization. So when can the fans expect maybe a new DVD or Blu-ray? Or do you have any plans for this?
Well, we would like to do another DVD, but I have something I'd like to share with you. We are seriously thinking now about re-recording Journey to the Centre of the Eye, but with an orchestra.
Ah, yeah.
Now, we've talked about this many years, and the cost involved in doing that used to be astronomical. As you can well imagine. Well, it's through Tom, our new bass player. He scores music, and he says he would just love to score music for that album for orchestra. Now, if he did that, that would be most of the cost out of the way, and rather than bring 20-piece orchestra into a studio, which would cost a lot of money, we can do by file transfer.
Yeah.
Again, over the internet. So we could have each individual violinist or section of violins or whatever, record their parts at their house or at their home, send them over, we'll piece it all together, and the band themselves can re-record the other music, and we could put that on the top. So there we have, instead of mellotrons, we have real orchestras. So we're looking at doing something like that. This is something which may be happening in 2016, because right now we're more interested in pulling together yet another new studio album.
Yeah.
That's the first thing on the agenda.
So this will be released in 2015, I guess, or?
Well, it may be towards Christmas this year.
Ah, yeah, because
once the writing process starts, it's very quick.
Ah, yeah, because you told you will go on tour in the end of the year with Time Machine, so
yeah, if we want to finish that off first.
Yeah.
Give it a bit of room. I mean, it was only released late last year anyway, so
yeah, it's no hurry, really.
No hurry, yeah. But yeah, we're getting down to. Plus, right now I'm in the middle of moving home, so we're moving down to the south of England. So there's all that got to go on as well. So it's going to be. I have to move the studio and everything. So there's a lot of work this year.
Yeah, of course. And you did another album, A Spoonful of Time, this cover version album. So how did you see this project? So is it special things to play the music of other people, or was it fun, or was it just...
Well, it was actually Cleopatra's idea to do this with the record label. They said, Nectar have never done any covers. I said, well, no, we haven't. Why would we need to? You know, we have our own material. Well, do you think it would be an advantage to, say, for instance, do some covers and maybe with some of the great musicians? You know, I said, oh, tell me what's on your mind, you know. So they came along with this bunch of songs that I think we all know them. Well, everybody's heard them at one time or another. And they said, well, we can get Steve Howe to play a bit of guitar on this. We can get Jerry Goodman to play violin on that. We can get to do that and that. I said, well, that's great, but you know, is it really Nectar?
Yeah, really.
And they said, well, it'll be Nectar's drums and, you know, mostly your voice, your vocal, and your guitar. I said, well, yeah, but it's not Nectar's music.
Yeah.
And I think they realized at the end of it that maybe I was right. But I mean, you know, it has got some kind of reaction. You know, people say, well, yeah, we quite like the songs, you know, but if we were to do something like that, which I would never want to attempt it again, but if we were to do something like that again, I would like to choose the songs, first of all, or do a 50-50, 50% our own, 50% somebody else's, and choose the musicians I would like to play on it, you know. But it was all done for us, basically, and I don't, personally, it's done now, you know, and that's it. And what can I say? You know, it's not my favorite album.
No, but it's okay. But mostly I don't like cover version. The albums is cover versions. It's not so interesting.
Oh, it's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's necessary to do
it. I'm not saying that it was a bad job done by whoever played on it. I mean, there were so many different people. Ginger Baker played on it, and God, everybody played on it. But you know, it's not. I would have approached it in a completely different way, really, to the way it was done. I mean, it was just a bunch of MP3s sent over. Yeah, I'll play some guitar on that, sing to that. You know, it's like, oh, well, yeah, okay, I can, but, you know, why?
Yeah.
Warum?
Yeah, this was my idea because, you haven't written any cover song, well, I haven't played any cover songs, so... These albums, it's okay, but it's not so interesting, I guess.
Hey, Jörg, it's not Nectar.
Yeah, it's not Nectar. That's it. And yeah. Okay, so now we can play another Nectar tune, I would suggest. And are you still awake? Are you still fit?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, I must check out which song we would play. It shouldn't be too long. Dream Nebula. 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be, from which album is this taken?
Journey to the Center of the Eye.
Journey to the Center of the Eye, all right.
Well, we've done it on a few different live albums as well, but it depends which one you're looking at.
Well, I take the 45 album now.
Yeah, okay, that's on 45,
so, Dream Nebula, what's behind the song?
It's just a spacey interlude, really, from their first album. It's like Void of Vision. It's just close your eyes and just let your mind go on it. You know, let your ears do the thinking.
Okay, that's good. Dream Nebula from Nectar. So, if you compare your career, would you see your career? Would you do things in a different way today if you have to check your career, maybe to have gone through this?
I mean, I think everybody in the world would wonder what would have happened if they had took the left road instead of the right road, you know?
Yeah.
Or should I go straight on, should I go left, or should I go right? The choice is yours. The choice is what you make it. And yes, there are certain things I could have done better, knowing now.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's what's done is done, and you can't change that anyway. So it's just that next time round, you may do things differently. But as far as what I've achieved, yes, I could have achieved more if I'd have tried harder. But there again, you know, what I've achieved so far, I've enjoyed everything I've done. I've written some music which people like, and as long as people like what I do,
mm-hmm.
I think I've achieved something.
Of course.
And would I change anything? Well, I could have done. Probably, yeah. But what the hell? Yeah, it's done now, you know.
Of course. It's no use to... Yeah, to...
Don't cry over spilled milk.
Oh, yeah, it's spilled milk. Yeah, it's not to change. It has happened, and... Yeah, Nectar, so this goes on, and Ron is still healthy and good in shape.
He's amazing. I mean, the guy's older than I am, and he's just a machine. You know, he just keeps going, and he will play a 2.5 hour set and won't even break into a sweat.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm absolutely finished after 2.5 hours, you know. But Ron is he's just a powerful drummer, and he just knows how to hit them drums without too much exertion, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's an amazing drummer.
Of course, he is. Was a little bit sad that he couldn't be on tour, but
I missed him very much. I did miss him very much. But you know, life is life, and people have priorities, and certain things have to be done. So yeah, we make do with what we've got.
Maybe, but on the next tour in autumn, he can be member.
Yes, he'll be there.
That's good.
Yeah, he'll be there.
And you played just one gig in London, or in England. So what was the reason? Is Nectar not so well known in Great Britain, or what was the reason? It's just one gig. No,
because the agency that booked that is a German agency.
Ah, yeah.
And that's the one show they know. Yes, we could have played up the north. You know, Birmingham wanted us to play there, and Newcastle and Nottingham wanted us to play. But we've done this before. We've had trailers and cars and that. It's easier for us to just play one show in London, and then go directly from there to the Channel Tunnel, and then straight across, you know.
Mm-hmm.
To play all the way down the UK to London, and from London out, it's a bit much, you know.
Yeah, of course.
But we've promised the UK fans that it's quite possible that October time we may play some more shows in the UK, and then go straight across, bypass London this time in October, and just go straight out to Europe again.
Yeah, good idea. And you played, I guess, last year you played in South America as well. I saw it on your website. So how were the reactions on Nectar in this
Great,
region?
yeah, we played several places last year. It's quite a good year for Nectar. We played in Sao Paulo, the Brazilian party festivals, where the street festival. And then we did also Mexico, the Festival of the Arts as well, Mexico.
Yeah.
And also with the same band, Martin Turner's Wishbone Ash.
Oh, yeah.
We played together a short tour of the USA, which was really quite well attended. It was good, yeah. I mean, there's different music to Nectar, but it's we decided, because of the length of sets that both bands do, we decided to go on first on that tour, because it's easy for us, you know, because we have such a big setup for guitars and stuff like that, you know, lots of cables and that. if we do the sound check first and get our set out of the way, then they're free, because they're just a 2-guitar band, 3-guitar band and drums.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we have keyboards and all over the place and guitar stuff all over the place. So, it's easy for us to set up our stuff, do our sound check at the same time, and then play, and then just get it off out of the way.
Oh yeah, so
a lot easier for both bands.
No, but it's good to see that you, are well known in Europe, in the United States, and South America as well.
Yeah, we seem to be very popular in South America. This is down to the fact that our ex-record company, Bellafon Records in Frankfurt there, unfortunately failed to tell us that back in the 70s, that we were extremely popular down in South America. In fact, we were as big as Pink Floyd.
Oh, yeah, really?
Really, but we didn't know this, so we didn't book any shows down there.
That's interesting. But
when we finally got there, that was a few years ago now. We finally did get down there. We got mobbed. And there were people there with their vinyls. Please sign, Roy. We never thought Nectar would ever come to Brazil. It's
cool.
like, bloody hell.
Cool.
It was great.
Really.
Great reception.
That's a cool thing. Yes. So, but Japan, it would be too far and too expensive, I guess.
Well, we've. I don't understand why Japan have not asked for Nectar, because we belong to that sort of ilk of music,
Mm-hmm.
I think that Cleopatra Records are looking into getting us to Japan. But there's only like three or four good gigs you can play in Japan. They're all around Tokyo area that you can play. And they're trying to get us over there.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a fan base in Japan, but I don't think the fan base is that big. It warrants ringing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the politics of it all.
Yeah.
But
obviously
some politics involved there somewhere.
Yeah. So, do you have any further information that you want to bring to your listeners, to your fans?
Well, of course, as always, Nectar are a band which are very, very much grateful to our fans. We can't thank you enough, and as long as you keep hearing us, we'll keep playing the music. And we wish you all, Ron, myself, Klaus, and now Tom, the bass player, we all wish you the very, very best.
Yeah, I guess that's good, and we wish you the best too. We can play as a final song for this Nectar special, maybe Time Machine from your latest album. So what was behind this song, Time Machine? Many bands have picked up this idea. Heaven and Hell, Black Sabbath did it, and Rush put up this title, Time Machine.
Yeah.
So what is behind this title for you?
Oh, not exactly the same as what Rush or anybody else has done it. They've taken Time Machine literally. We're trying to say on that song is that repetition. You're like a time machine. You go to work, you clock into work, you do your day's work, you go home. You sleep, you get up, you go the next day back to work, and you are just continuing. It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And you are your own time machine. That's it. Time just goes by, and you keep doing the same day in, day out. That's it's just an observation.
It's more the boring time of most people who do a daytime job or do the same routine doing every day, and they wonder where is the time or
where's the time going, and they wish there was somebody else doing something else, and they wish they were doing something else.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't have this chance. Most people don't have this chance to do this.
Mm-hmm.
We are the lucky ones.
Yeah, good. So, listen, this was our Nectar special. Thank you for this nice interview. So we listen, Roy, thank you very much. And
it was my pleasure entirely.
stay in the line, and yeah, we listen to Time Machine from Nektar from their latest album.